don't be shy. Tiffany, I know you had one. You were supposed to do one for Beth. Okay. You can do it.
All right.
Jason's got one. Jason's got one.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, you guys should.
I'm not a good speaker in front of crowds, so I typed it out beforehand so that I would be ready because I knew I'd be 3 sheets to the wind at this point. So bear with me. Pete and Barb are the kindest, most generous, and fun-loving bosses that you could ever ask for. I'm sure if you asked anybody here, they would tell you about all the memories that I hold dear and all the times that they shared at a little place called Baskin Robbins. To this day, I haven't worked for anybody else that I knew that had my best interest in mind, or that I could share my personal life with. Pete and Barb are the embodiment of the people that I would kill to work for, and I never knew that I would become lifelong friends with them. So I love you, Barb. I'm so great. So they really are more than just 2 people that paid us to work for them. In fact, they held a handful of titles. For instance, Barb was my financial advisor. I remember one time that I had to take out a few $100s to fix one of my cars. I was 17, and at that time, that was a lot of money. She asked me how I planned to pay for it, and I told her that I would put on my credit card. And she was more concerned about the interest rates and the finance charges that I would be accruing, and she offered to lend me the money. She set up payment plans for me that I would pay with each subsequent paycheck. A year later, when my car finally gave out, they sold me their beloved Freddie, the little white Blazer that could, and they gave it to me for almost nothing, and I also made payment plans on that, so that worked out nicely. Those little acts of kindness have stayed with me to this day, and trust me, it wasn't the last time that they would help me out financially or at all. Those were just some of the many moments that proved to me how special the Las Pinas were to me. I've had like 6 margaritas. I apologize. Okay, so Pete also holds quite a few titles as well. He's the resident jokester, as everybody else has kind of pointed out. He's always made everybody laugh, and he knows how to tell a story. In fact, if you're gullible enough to fall for them, one time a pipe behind the counter burst, and the floor had been drilled into, and he convinced me that somebody had drilled into the concrete to break into the store a few doors down, and I believed him. He said that they just so happened to miss it by a few hundred feet. He really got a joy out of tricking you, and that was his biggest pleasure in life, I would say. Pete also took me to get the most coveted possession that you could get as a teenager, my driver's license. I had never driven the freeway before, and he insisted that we did, and that it would be a good learning experience for me. We made it to the DMV in Simi Valley, and I got my license, and I was on top of the world. Pete was incredibly supportive of me on what I thought would be a scary drive. He never showed me that he was terrified, and he put me at ease. That is, until we made it back to Baskin Robbins, and he proceeded to tell Barb how we almost collided with a big rig as I was getting onto the freeway. And he told that story to my husband as we got here. It's a total lie. He'll swear to you that we almost died, and because he tells such good stories, it's hard not to believe him, but trust me, it was a smooth drive, and no passengers were harmed in the process. The most cherished title that they hold is as everybody's second parents. The kind of parents that get the same privileges as grandparents. They get to spoil you, fill you up with sugar, and send you home to your parents. Pete would start his day at 3 in the morning, and back when I was able to hang out that late, we would often stop by and say hi. Unbeknownst to me, one night, one of my fellow coworkers, hold on.
Oh yeah, keep going.
I'm sorry, Pete.
Yeah, no,
One of my fellow coworkers and party animals decided it would be fun to visit Pete and Barb after we'd been hanging out, having too much fun. I was passed out in the back seat, completely drunk, at about 19 years old, I'd say. I'd like to take this moment to tell everybody to drink safely, to drink responsibly. Clearly they haven't been. We all showed up to Baskin Robbins, and I remember hearing, "Oh crap, Barb's here." You see, Pete turned a blind eye to our shenanigans, but Barb, nobody ever wants to let her down. So She comes out to the car, greets everybody, and to my horror, opens the back door of the car that I just so happened to be leaning up against. I proceed to fall out of the car, held up only by my seatbelt. Barb's reaction was priceless. Oh my God, is she okay? Everybody told her I was sleeping, but I'm pretty sure she never believed that. Being married to Pete for so long has made it impossible to get past her with any of our stories. So Barb, I apologize for that night. I've yelled at T, Beth, and Sabrina multiple times about that. But I just want to say, working for Pete and Barb was an incredibly entertaining environment, and because of them, I've made lifelong friendships with people for years to come. And I've become one of those ex-employees that have come back with my children. And I really loved working for you guys. And I have dreams all the time when I'm stressed out in life that I'm working at Baskin-Robbins again, scooping ice cream. And it totally puts me at ease, so I don't know what it is, but I love you guys, so thank you.
That was really sweet, too. Okay, who's next? Sabrina, my little Sabrina. You know, Sabrina can't just be Sabrina. She's always going to be little Sabrina.
Hi, my name is Sabrina, and I started working at the store at 2000. I think 2000, I was 16. Bear with me if I get a little emotional. I just love Pete and Barb so much. I started working there as... Okay, I started working there as a junior in high school. I was raised by a single mom, and Barb knew it was my dream to one day get into UCLA, and I continued to work there throughout community college, and she always, encouraged me to continue studying, always encouraged me to work as many hours as I needed to save for my little college cushion. And then one day came, I was, I think, almost 20, and I told her, I got in, I'm finally in. And she offered to buy my first textbook to get it, because she was so proud. And her kindness and Pete's kindness was not just beyond supporting me through school, but, I remember one time she was the person that I could go to, boy problems, anything I could just share with her. As a teenage girl, learning about life and boys and studying and schools and what kind of schools to go to. But I remember one time I had told her I'd never been to the theater. I'd never seen a play that, it seems like fun, but my mom just, we'd never had that experience. I remember the next week she said, I want you to wear your prettiest dress. I'm taking you to watch Beauty and the Beast next week. And we had this amazing dinner and we watched the play. And she's just always been there for me. Pete as well, but especially Barb. I'm just so connected to her. I remember one time I called her and I said, I can't come to work tonight. I've been in an accident. The ambulance is on its way to come and get me. And she said, where are you going? And I said, I had no idea. I don't know where they're taking me. And within 30 minutes, she had tracked down the hospital and she was there with me in the room. And so I just want to say I love this family so much. And you guys are just amazing people. And I just feel so blessed to have found that store at 16 and to have made lifelong friends, and you were never just employers, but you were always second parents. And I love you guys, and I'm so proud of everything you've accomplished. And you've touched so many people, and I just want you to know how special you really are.
Sabrina graduated UCLA, and now she's working at Children's Hospital. Wow. We're very proud of you. She's a nurse. Kim, she's a nurse at Children's Hospital. Another nurse. My niece Kim is ER nurse in San Diego.
Yay, Kim!
Yay, okay, these are all, I'm getting emotional now.
You said you weren't going to cry.
Okay, anybody else? We're getting the ice cream ready, right? Natalie.
I want to hear from Anthony.
Wait, Natalie goes in front of cameras and does all this, and now you're nervous? Oh, don't be nervous.
This is gonna be really short because I don't like talking in front of people. Pete and Barb, as everyone's expressed, they're so much more than just bosses. And to me, Pete and Barb are just my everyday life. They're just, after 12 years, it's just, I knew I was going to see Pete and Barb. You know, I worked there full time pretty much for 12 years, and I don't know, it's just, they're just Pete and Barb, my everyday family that I get to see and experience so many different things and learn so much. Even today, like, I was laughing because Barb pulled out her trash can and there was a trash bag underneath it ready to go, and I go, oh, that's so Barb, man, I'm still learning from you. You know, so I love you, Pete and Barb, and you know, it's sad because in 2015, as they retired, I made a comment. I said, I feel like we all retired together because I left too. You know, I tried to stay, but it just wasn't the same. And so it's been bittersweet for me as well as them to give up, you know, something that was so big part of their life. But we had such a good time, and I always want to refer to us as the A-team, because for so many years we just knew what we were doing, and we just, I don't know, we just were a team. So thank you, and I love you guys, and that's all I can say because I'm really nervous.
12 years Natalie was with us. That's almost a third of the time we were there. So she holds the record. Okay, anybody else? Okay, here comes another Leonard. You know, there's a bunch of them.
I'm Sean Leonard. I did, that was my first job. So this was at your going away party at the last, your last day at the store. I just wanted to say, Pete mentioned the work ethic, and it's just about, oh, yeah, there we go. That's what I learned when I was working for you, is get the work done, get it done really well, and then you can enjoy yourself. And Pete embodied that, you embodied that. That meant so much to me that I kept the uniform that I had when I was a kid. And I wore it on that last day. Oh, really? But that's, and I keep thinking about that every time I change jobs or I do something and I have people that are working for me. I want to make sure that they're taking care of themselves, and that the work's not overwhelming them. That if I'm looking into their personal life just a little bit, maybe I can change what they're doing to make it work a little bit better. And that's something that I learned from you guys. And I think you can tell from the people who are here today that yeah, maybe you could have run your business different. Maybe you could be in a bigger house. Maybe you could have made a lot more money. And I think that, you know, on a business-wise, that, yeah, you probably could have squeezed out more than, over the 30-odd years that you were there, but there's no way you would have been able to fill this room with the people whose lives you've enriched by being who you are and doing what you've done. And in my book, you will always be the richest people that I know and the best bosses I have ever had.
Absolutely. Sean, the only boss who taught us to handicap horses was the race.
Amir's thinking of a rap right now as we speak. Hi, I'm Sage. I think there's two things you learn very quickly. Never trust anything Pete says without verifying with Barb. And never make Barb have to give you her face that she's disappointed in you, ever. But basically, I was very painfully shy when I started working there. And Pete tested me every day, where I would go crying to Barb. I would hide in the back if he was there. I'd go on strikes from talking to Pete. He would, if there was anybody there, he would put me on spot to make me turn bright red. I'm probably red right now. But my point is, I'm up here talking in front of a bunch of people, and it's because of Pete. And my first speech class was because of Pete, and Pete was the first person I read my speech to. So thank you for helping me in life with that. And thank you for everything you guys have taught me of how to be a good worker, how to be a good person in general. And thank you for always being there for me when other people couldn't be. I have the uttermost love for you guys and the uttermost appreciation, and you guys will always be a big part of my heart.
Speaking about Pete's lies, I remember when I was turning 19, I invited him and Barb to my party. And I actually invited everyone at the store. But the first thing he said to me is, I'm just going to go and check out if there's any alcohol at the party. And I was terrified because I had cases of alcohol for my guests, and I thought he was going to come in and, you know, fire me or do whatever. And then I remember the day of my party, he never showed up, and I was just so glad he didn't. And it's funny, ever since then, I personally hate beer. But we have this little thing going on where, since I didn't want to throw away the beer, I just left him some beer in the fridge. And then every day after I left him a beer in the fridge, he left me a donut on the table. It was like a little dirty exchange we had, but it was pretty funny. Thank you, Pete.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And I love Barb.
I didn't know this was going to be a Leonard tribute, but I am the mother of all the Leonards that came up, and my husband helped a little bit. But Pete's stories, he always had a story, and it was always you were the butt of the story. You know, it was some kind of a thing he had going with himself. But anyway, this one day I was passing the store and I saw Pete in the back door shoving supplies in. And I said, "Oh my God, Pete." He said, "What?" I said, "Did you get your ice cream delivery already this morning?" He goes, "No, why?" I said, "Oh my God, Pete, there's a big 31 flavor truck turned over on Devonshire and Topanga."
Oh my gosh.
And he says, "Oh my God, you're kidding me." I said, "I'm sorry." "Well, I don't know. What can I do, Pete?" I said, "Oh, by the way, can I have an ice cream?" He said, He said, "Are you telling me a story?" I said, "It's a Pete story." You know, but I finally got him on that one. And I was the dean of girls at Chaminade for a few years. And I was also in care of the cheerleaders and the drill team for the girls. And I needed someone to help me judge for the incoming cheerleaders. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, I remember Barbara was a cheerleader at UCLA and also with Playboy. And I thought, there's a good judge. And so Barbara brought a girlfriend with her from, I guess, Playboy also, right? And she came and helped judge once. And I think she kind of caught the bug, and we kind of convinced her to take over the cheerleaders. And so I don't know, how many years were you there with them? 9 years. 9 years. I caught that one, okay. But what a great person she was for Chaminade. And I'm sure all the cheerleaders just loved her dearly, as we all do.
This is cool. You guys really like this. Anybody else?
I'm on the microphone every single day at work, but this is really, really hard. I work at Universal Studios at the Animal Show, so come see me. Anyway, I've known Pete and Barb since I was a little girl.
I used to come in the store every day after work with my mom, or after school with my mom. And I think it was like first grade. We used to come in there, and me and little Nevada. And we'd get ice cream, and I knew, I was like, I'm gonna work here one day. And then I turned, I think it was like 15 or 16, and I got a job, and I worked for them for about, 5 or 6 years. But I remember my mom passed away about 4 years ago, so it's a little hard. But she was really close with Pete and Barb, and my mom just every day would tell, oh, Pete, he's so funny. He would just make her laugh, and she actually I got a 67 Mustang for my 16th birthday. And on the back of the license plate, it said, oh, okay. And I had no idea what it meant. And she thought it was the funniest thing, because she came up to me and said, Pete says you say this in the ice cream store every day. And I'm like, I do? I didn't remember that, but at the back of my car, basically every day, reminding me of Pete. And I'm like, I don't remember that. It was pretty funny. Anyway, they were like second parents to me as well at my wedding. And my husband and I actually got married at St. John Eudes. We had a private ceremony. We only invited our close family, and it was very important to me to have Pete and Barb there. So it's very nice. And anyway, I love them. I love you guys.
Now I'm going to tell you a funny Kim story. So it was free scoop night, and all the people lined up, and the line went all the way up to Smart and Final. And the people would come in, and these two boys came through the line a second time. And Kim, because she was really on her game, said, hey, this is not an all-you-can-eat buffet. You've already been here. And she got rid of them. But Pete called her Sergeant Kim, because she took no prisoners. It was really something.
But if Carmen was there, he would have let him in.
Yeah, Carmen was...
double dips, FYI. He'll take a piece there, and then
So, Kim had this story at...
Yeah, tell it, please tell
Kim had this story at Pete's dad, Carmen, who you all know. I think everybody here knows him. At his services, she got up and told a Carmen story. And she said that they were behind the counter, and the new flavors came in. And my father-in-law stuck a spoon in and tasted it. And then he wanted to taste something else, and he used the same spoon. And Kim said, Carmen, you can't do that. And he says, oh, we're all family here. That's just the way he was. Anybody else want to say anything? I think they're almost ready with the ice cream.
Hey, Barbara.
Yeah.
Eddie would like your version of Quarterback Crunch.
Oh,
Story about Quarterback Crunch.
The real story, not your story.
Not the Roman Gabriel story. And if I have to...
So Pete has a whole different version of that story. I don't know where it came from, but it really was a simple thing. We were going through training. We were talking about how flavors were invented. And I came up with this idea for that flavor. And even did the little sketch for the posters then were very cartoonish. And came up with that. But we were going through training, even as a corporate person, you had to go through training. So we were going through training with the marketing director. So I shared with him this idea I had for Quarterback Crunch. And that was in March. Not that year, but the following October, out comes Quarterback Crunch as the flavor of the month. And I thought, wow, they took my idea. Well, this marketing director put it in under his name. Ooh. But I squared it. I straightened it out. Nobody was going to take that away from me. So, but Pete's story is altogether different. He'll say it happened like we were watching Joe Namath and he got crunched, and I said that would make a good flavor. I don't know where he came up with that story, because that is not how it happened. What I said is how it happened. And you know, all through life I go through, no matter what story he tells, everybody will look at me. Is he telling the truth?
Exactly.
6 words that I will take on my grave when I die is he telling the truth, Barbara? In fact, for his 60th birthday, a group of friends made him a t-shirt that says, "I never told one lie." And that's true, because he sold so many. This is really fun. Anybody, come on. You guys, oh, here comes Angie. Angie is our operations manager.
I love that you're saying I am, because you're right. I'll never stop being your operations manager. What a privilege we had to cross paths in their life, right? That we were part of their history at Baskin-Robbins. And I mean, I could not have selected them from a magazine and said, these are the franchises I'd like to have in my team. And so they were probably some of the best years of my life, having them. They were the best franchises I had. Out of the 33 stores, they were the best. I was probably there almost every day. And some people, if you're a good franchisee, or even if you're not a good franchisee, you don't want your operations manager in your business. Right. But in their case, they would always pull up a chair and say, "Would you like a cup of coffee?" They were so welcoming. And sometimes I would have a tough conference call with all the franchisees, and some of them would be challenging the company and say, "Well, we don't really think that you guys are watching our best interests," and I'd try to be diplomatic, and I'd hang up, and the conversation would be done. And I would love when my phone would ring, and it would be Pete. And he would call me on the phone and say, "Angie, I don't know how you do your job. I don't know, but I'm so glad that you said what you said. You needed to say that." So he always enhanced my self-esteem. But of course, there was always those stories, just like the stories that some of you guys have shared, that I would just say, "Okay, thank you, Pete," and then I would check the veracity of it with my friend here, Barbara, and she would just kind of smile. She never was disrespectful about Pete's lies. She would just smile, and you just knew that it wasn't the truth. So, but anyway, I don't have any super cool story like the ones I've already heard today, and I've been crying all evening. But what I am going to say is, what a privilege, like I said, it was to be your operations manager, and I love that we're still friends, and that life, although life goes on and we don't have that one thing in common, we do have the same thing in common. We love each other, and I know you're not my mom, but you are certainly my friend, and thank you, Barbara.
This is Little Debbie. So we have Little Sabrina and we have Little Debbie, because she buys her clothes in the children's department.
Size 4 girls. Anyway, I didn't plan on saying anything, but now that I hear that Pete always lies, I'm thinking, he was always saying how much he liked me. So I don't know now, is that a lie, Pete, or is that the truth? Pete? He's not committing. Anyway, they've been my clients, and they were one of my favorite clients over the last 15 years, and I was sad to see them go, but I was happy because they were retiring, and I'm looking forward to retiring. And I trained Barbara well, because I'd call up and I'd say, "Get me the stuff. I'm picking it up in a day." She'd call me and say, "It's ready. You can pick it up now. We're going to drop it off at your house." So they were fabulous, and I love Barb, and Pete, not so much. Maybe I'm lying. Maybe I'm telling the truth. Anyway, I do have one regret. I do not understand why my husband and myself never said, Mandy and Ashley, my daughters, get a job at Baskin-Robbins on Devonshire and Chatsworth. They would have been great. Yeah, well, no regrets, though. Love you. Love you both.
She wasn't a nude. She would call me on the first of the month and say, "Is your work ready?" I said, "Debbie, it's just the first of the month." But that's how she was. Okay, I understand the ice cream's ready, so if you guys want to mosey over here and make yourself a sundae, and I told everyone that, I told Andy, the one who left the toast earlier, that I can guarantee you that the whipped cream is going to look good on every single one of these sundaes because I taught them all how to put it on right. Come have some ice cream.